On today's show, I welcome on a very special guest. He is Tyler Cicione. He is a guard for CCRI men's basketball team. Tyler, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show.
No problem, man. I'm glad to have you on the show. Lucky to have you on. I'm happy to hear about your basketball career and your story of how you got into basketball. So I want to ask, how did you get into basketball? Because you played baseball most of your life, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I played baseball most of my years, like growing up until like 11th grade, but like I lived in like a very active neighborhood, so like all the kids would like be outside, like playing sports and all that. So I guess that's just how I got into basketball with like pickup games with like each other's dads and all that stuff. So
That's
stuff
that's
like that.
that's awesome. That's great. And like, how did you fall in love with it? Like, what made you fall in love with the game of basketball over like other sports?
Um, well, I would watch like almost every single Celtics game, that's for sure. I would watch like a lot of NBA basketball, and then I would go outside and like pretend to be like those guys and stuff like that. So it kind of just got me into basketball.
That's awesome. Who were some of the guys that you liked on the Celtics and rooted for?
Paul Pierce is like one of my all-time favorite players,
Yeah.
and I really liked Rondo too. Really
I,
like Rondo.
I do too. I don't know why a lot of like people hate on him, but I think he was like he's such like a great point guard and like kind of how he handled
Yeah.
the floor and everything like that. I mean, he was such a big like for the Lakers championship run. I think he was such a
Mhm.
big play for them.
He's where you want out of a point guard, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like that's how you want a point guard to play, pass first and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's a floor general. He tells people where to be and everything like that. So that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah,
Exactly.
those are my era too. Guys, Paul Pierce and Roger
hmm
and all that stuff. And then so you got into basketball, and at what age did you really start playing basketball?
My first year of competitive basketball wasn't until freshman year of high school.
Wow.
Um, and like I played like recreational basketball starting in 8th grade, and like I tried out for the middle school team in 7th and 8th grade, but like I wasn't like really like playing basketball like that. So like obviously I wasn't that good, so I didn't make the team or anything. I kind of just did it for fun because all my friends were trying out. But really, like freshman year of high school is when I really started playing.
That's awesome. And what was it like, that freshman year making that adjustment and actually playing competitive basketball for the first time?
um, it was definitely different because in 8th grade when I was playing rec, the freshman team coach went to the rec game because like his cousin was playing or something like that. And he actually came up to me after the game, just like a normal rec game, and like asked me like if I'm going to Coventry next year and all that. And that's how he got to know me and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. That's really
So
cool.
yeah,
That's
just
great.
out of random rec basketball game. So
That's hilarious.
no idea he was there, but
That's that's awesome. That's great. So you were able to make the freshman team, and then what was your time like playing on the freshman team and then playing for Coventry for your high school career?
uh the freshman team was definitely a big adjustment to me because it was my first year like actually playing basketball, like on a competitive standpoint. And then uh I played like Coventry travel my freshman year. So I got into that. And then as 10th grade came out, I played JV. I actually ended up swinging my 10th grade year. And that was a good experience. We actually ended up switching coaches though, like my going into my 11th grade year. So like I don't know what it was, but like the new coach that we got, like he kind of had something for me. Like I feel like we didn't really like connect, like coach to player like that. Um, but I don't know. In 10th grade was like kind of like my breakout type of year, I guess you could say, because like I ended up swinging. Like the coaches really got to know me, and like whenever we go play other teams, like I could hear them. Like whenever I touched the ball, they would yell like shooter and stuff like that. So I guess that's when I really like broke out.
That's great. That's great that 10th grade, and it's tough with a switch of a new coach, and
hmm
obviously that makes things a little bit harder. Sometimes system changes or something doesn't work out in some sort of sense, but it's tough that it was a tough transition. It sounds like, and what like how did you like just keep your head up and keep positive about the situation and keep playing through it?
Yeah. So I think 11th grade I wasn't too worried about it because like I was on varsity and I was like playing like here and there. Like I actually started like a couple games as a junior. So like as a junior I wasn't too worried about it, but senior year came along and I started like almost every game, but like my minutes were still like pretty low. So like it kind of got to me in that way because I was trying to figure out like what I could do better. And like I still show up to practice every day, still make sure I was on time for everything, but I just never. And then I ended up getting suspended for something stupid because like I ended up like I like didn't go to school on a game day or something like that because I wasn't like feeling too well. So they found out about that and they actually suspended me for my senior year playoff game.
Oh no.
So I was like, that was my last game of my career right there. So they wouldn't let me play. And that was kind of a hit to me too. Um, so senior year was definitely like a lot of like head down and stuff like that. But I tried to just, stay focused on what I was trying to do. And that was just to play at the next level after high school.
Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. That stinks about the whole suspension and
Yeah.
everything. So that makes it.
And I didn't really think anything about it either because like I woke up for school and I just wasn't feeling good like at all. So
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I'll just take today out. Like I have a game later, just rest and stuff like that. I didn't even realize it was going to be like a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You
So
just thought, I didn't feel well. I need the rest, and then
yeah, and then be ready for the game. But I guess I got that was something wrong with it. So
oh,
I
geez.
didn't know it was a rule. I had no idea.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Well,
so
says something about your career because I don't think you've ever missed it. It sounds like you didn't ever missed a game before or anything like that. So
yeah, no, that was oh yeah, another thing about senior year is I missed like the first like 2 months. Like I didn't try out or anything like that because I sprained my rotator cuff in my left shoulder.
oh, geez.
Like yeah, like 2 weeks before tryouts. I was just playing pickup and I like ran into a screen and like it just like something happened right when I ran into the screen. So that set me back senior year too. Like I already got set back right at the beginning of it and stuff like that.
That's really tough. That's that's a tough situation to be in. It sounds like you had a rough senior year, but what made you, you still stuck with your goal, obviously to play at the next level. And you mentioned that and we talked off there about this, but you played with the RI Knights, AU.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like playing for that program, and what did that do to escalate you to get to the next level?
Yeah, so right after high school, like senior year ended, like I was like I was kind of like focused, like I was really thinking about just going to URI and just like continuing like my academic career, not really like playing basketball like that anymore and stuff like that. But I don't know, something like clicked in my head. I was like, I don't want to be done playing basketball yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was on like Instagram and I was just searching for AAU teams. And like I was kind of like I was looking for like a lower level AAU team at the time. So I could like go to that program and like, like really play, like try to get my name out there, like if I'm doing good. And I came across the RI Knights and the tryout was like 2 days later. And I was like, oh God, I have to like get ready for that. So I ended up going to that tryout. I made like the varsity A team and all that. And I actually just really made a name for myself through that. And it's a great like family over there, like the RI Knights. It's the director of the RI Knights is Todd French. I don't know if you know Todd French or not, but
No, I don't know if I know him. I think I think he follows me on Instagram or something like that. I know the RI
mhm,
Knights do, but yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. So the director of the RI Knights is Todd French, and honestly, that's who I have to thank the most for like getting me to CCRI and all that because he really took me in. He like believed in me. He told me that he would get me to the next level and all that, and he told me that he would like really give me an opportunity. So, and he even reached out to coaches after the year and all that, like just for me, and like he would always put in a good word for me. So I think Todd's definitely like who I thank the most for like getting me to CCRI and all that.
That that's great. That's great that
Yeah.
Todd was able to do that for you and help you get to the next level. Is there like what kind of tournaments did you guys play in? Like at with the RI Knights, is there a game that you remember the most playing with the RI Knights that really sticks out in your brain?
Yeah, so we played in some tournament in I think it was Connecticut or something like that. And I think it was a zero gravity tournament. And I'm not too sure which one it was, but I remember we were playing some like team from New York and they were like really good. Like we were losing most of the game. I ended up playing like really good and all that though. Like I think I had like 24 points or something like that.
Wow.
And um we ended up losing by like 10 or something like that. Something like we were like in the game, but like we never like really got back into it.
Yeah.
And I remember like after like shaking hands after the game and all that, like a couple of the guys and the coaches came up to me asking me like where I played and all that, and like where I'm playing next year and stuff like that. So that kind of was just like eye opening to me.
That's awesome. That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
like, that'd be a great feeling too when people are just like, "Hey, where are you going next year? Or where are you gonna end up
No,
playing?"
yeah, exactly. And I never got like love like that before either. So it was definitely different like that. But
That's awesome. That's great. And now, what was your recruiting process like, and how did you end up at CCRI?
so after one of the AU tournaments we played in, like I think the AU season just finished, and Coach Harris, the coach of CCRI, called Todd asking about me, Steven Del Sesto, and I think Griffin Ferretti. I don't know if you know who they are,
No.
but they were on my AU team, and they were talking to me. They were talking to Todd about us, and then Todd just ended up putting in a good word for me. I played in a summer league over the summer the following year, and Coach Harris was in attendance for it because his son was playing in it, and I ended up doing really good. And then ever since then, I just kept in contact with them, and I ended up just going to CCRI, enrolling there, and then the season started, and I went to like the first like open runs they have at CCRI and like the tryout and stuff like that, and ended up just being on the team.
That's awesome. That's great. Like, what has your time been like with CCRI? I know there's some other guys from Rhode Island teams that play on there from like Wesley and some other places. What's it like to play with those guys too? That guys you probably face in high school as well.
Yeah, actually, I played a lot of the guys in AAU and high school,
Yeah.
and honestly, that's where like most of my closest friends have came from now. Like playing with those guys, like definitely like makes me better because they always are like in the gym. They always like told me like, let's work out after practice. Let's get more shots up. They push each other in practice. Like it was definitely a great time playing with them last year. And it kind of sucks that we can't have a season this year, but they definitely upped my level of basketball. So that's something I thank them out for the most. And I still talk to those guys like on a daily basis too. So
That's great. That's great that you have like, it's awesome that you made. It's funny how like things work. You play these guys, you become like, obviously you play them all through like your high school career, and it's funny how you guys become like college teammates. Go to a community college, and now that you're lifelong friends, and that's a great. That's so cool. I think that's like one of the best things about basketball is like you end up playing against other guys, and then you end up being teammates, and you end up becoming good friends with them for like a long time.
yeah, I remember we played like the RI Warriors when I was on the Knights, and one of the kids I was playing, Luke Fasaro.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually going like back and forth with each other in that game. And I had no idea who he was, and then we ended up going to CCRI the next year. And we're like, oh, I remember you and stuff like that. So that's how that connection started.
That's so cool. That's really cool. Is there a favorite game that you played at CCRI that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I mean, there's the game I did the best in. I think I had like 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists off the bench or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was one game that stuck out to me because like my minutes were up and down at CCRI last year for sure.
Yeah.
Like I would go in some games, sometimes I wouldn't, and stuff like that. But I went in that game. I mean, we had a good lead on them, and I was just like doing my thing. Like I did everything that like I would put the work in for, you know what I mean? And that was like a career day for me at CCRI, I guess you could say. But the game that like really stuck out to me was when we won our region championship, so we went to nationals in Minnesota.
That's awesome.
So yeah, last year we went to nationals for Minnesota. So that game that we won our region would definitely stuck out because we knew we were going to nationals and stuff like that.
That's great. What's that experience like going nationals and playing in Minnesota?
That was definitely a crazy experience. The funny thing about that is we were in our hotel room when COVID really hit.
Oh, jeez.
So like we were chilling in our hotel room, the TV was on, then we saw like the NBA was postponed or canceled. And we were like, wow, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And then a couple days later, we were supposed to be there for 7 days. A couple days later, they're like, yeah, we have to leave tomorrow. Like they're just getting the tournament like all out of the way, like today and tomorrow. Like we put a couple teams played like double headers and stuff like that.
Wow.
In a national tournament. Yeah. And they're like, we have to go to make sure we get home safe. We all had to put like masks on. We had no idea what was going on. And then we just had to get out of there. But the experience there was definitely crazy. Just seeing all these like different level of competitions of teams that like we don't play in Rhode Island or like near Rhode Island anyways. Because we played like teams from like Texas and like Ohio and stuff like that. So
Wow.
it was just nice to play those type of teams. A lot of athletic kids that like we like wouldn't play like in Rhode Island or like Maine or whatever. So
Yeah.
definitely different.
There's some good competition out there for sure. I'm sure. Oh, like, I'm sure some of those guys are D1 or D2 players too.
Yeah, no, yeah. Just like didn't really like succeed in the classroom, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely guys like that.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy that your turn. I feel bad. It's crazy that it was just like a quick turnaround. Like, you're honestly there. COVID, you guys have to wear masks. It just sounded like absolute mayhem. Like, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had no idea what was going on. Everyone was confused. Like, we heard about COVID like before we left because it was somewhere else, just not like really in the US yet.
Yeah.
And we knew what it was. And then we got like an email saying that like spring break was extended a week due to the virus. So we were like, all right, so we have a week more of spring break, but it ended up turning into something like this. So we had no idea what was going on.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think too, like a year later, we're still like in the
Still
same
dealing
position.
with it.
Yeah. I honestly thought it was gonna end back in like May or June. I was like, oh, it'll be over by then, but I was completely wrong about that.
Yeah, I think everyone thought it was going to be like that, but hopefully it's this summer.
Yeah. Hopefully get back to normalcy a little bit. But now, how does it work for
sure.
CCRI? Do you guys get an extension for another playing year? How does that work for you guys?
Yeah, so since we didn't have a season this year, they gave us our whole year of eligibility back. So technically next year I'll be a junior in the classroom, but I'll be a sophomore in basketball. So they just ended up giving us a whole year back. And technically at CC, you're only supposed to play 2 years.
Yeah.
So since I only played 1 year and then this year was canceled, I'm allowed to go back and play again.
That's great. It's kind of like a red shirt year almost, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's actually something my freshman year, I really thought about doing the red shirt year too in the back of my head. Cause like I knew I wasn't going to get like constant minutes every game. So,
yeah.
But I ended up just sticking it out.
I was gonna say, what made you just you wanted to stick it out, or is that just some reason?
Or yeah, so I talked to Coach Harris about it, and he told me my best bet was to just like keep working hard and like not use the redshirt year, because like you never know, someone could go down, like something like that could happen, and then your minutes could get better. Yeah. Or like just keep working hard. So he just told me to stick with it. You never know when your opportunity is going to come. So I just ended up riding with that.
Nice. That's good. That's good. It sounds like a good decision on your behalf, and it sounds like you you're a true like warrior in a sense of like you stick with things. You don't let things seem to get you down. I feel like you just kind of stick it out and you make good decisions. It's good. Good. I think that's really good.
Yeah, I mean that's the mindset I try to have, but because especially after high school, I was like, senior year of high school, I was like 228 pounds or something like that. And then freshman year of CCRI, so like the summer, like the off season, I got to like 204.
Wow.
So I think that's like probably one of the reasons why I didn't play a lot in high school. I was just like slow, stuff like that. Like I couldn't like keep up with like defense. So I think that's something I just tried to focus on before I got to CCRI.
That's awesome. What would you do to like, what was that hard work like? What'd you do to like drop all that weight?
So I would
I'm asking for advice for myself because I need to lose.
Well, first of all, I definitely started eating better.
Yeah.
That's like definitely the number one thing. It's the hardest thing to do though. Definitely eating better because I love to eat food. But honestly, I would try to go to the gym at least 5 out of 7 days a week. And then out of those 5 days, 3 of those days would be cardio days too. So like I would run a lot, stuff like that. I also went to like the sand dunes a lot and did like the sports ladder, just like foot movement, like in the sand, because obviously it's harder to do it in the sand. And I would do that. Honestly, I would just start lifting, working out, just pretty much like what you would think to do to lose weight. I would just try to like stay on that for as long as possible. Obviously, I had like setbacks and like sometimes I would go like a week without the gym and stuff like that, just because like other stuff going on. But
Hey,
I try to like make sure I stayed on it. It was hard, but I tried to do
yeah,
it. I got it done. So
yeah, hats off to you, man. That's a lot of weight. And, coming out of your senior year to going into your freshman year of college in the short span, that's awesome. That's great for you. And this says something about your character and who you are. It just seems like you have a great mentality of you stick with it, you work hard, and you don't give up. And I mean, there's plenty of times where you could have just walked away from the
yeah,
game and, you stuck with it. And it just says a lot about you. Just a great kid with a great mentality.
no, yeah, I appreciate it. That's why I wanted to come on the show too, is to like you don't have to be like the number one scorer, like the number one option in high school and all that to like keep playing after high school. Like there's always like a different path for everybody. So you just gotta like keep going at it, honestly. Just keep going. And it eventually will all fall in line.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a good message for kids out there that, get frustrated and get down on themselves because they're not playing or anything like that. I think, you have the perfect message. Stick with it and good things will
Mhm.
happen if you just work hard, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure. And a lot of people like overlook like AAU programs too and stuff like that. Like I understand like obviously BCRI is like the top of the top now. And
Yeah.
like I guess like what was it? Team New England. Yeah, Team New England.
Team New
Like
England.
obviously those two are like premier like AAU programs. But like you could go to like a program like the RI Knights that are like on the come up and still go somewhere after it because the RI Knights is definitely like a family type atmosphere and all that. And he's gonna help you get to like the next level for sure.
That's great. And now you also coach for the RR Knights.
Yep.
And what's that like coaching, what's it like to pass on your knowledge and, what you have like experience in your mentality and coaching, and what's it like being on the other side of the ball?
Yeah, honestly, at first it was kind of challenging because I never really had coaching background before. And I kind of just hopped right into like an AAU circuit and like started coaching. So I actually coached the 10th grade team and the 11th and 12th grade team last fall. Like it was on the winter, not fall, the fall session. And I was coaching that, but it was definitely like different. Like it is harder than I thought in my head because I thought I'd just go in there and like tell like kids what to do. Like they would like I thought like my advice would be like more like effective, I guess. Because there's a lot of times I would draw up plays and like it would just not go the way I thought it was gonna go. And it was definitely running practice is harder than I thought it was gonna be too. That's for sure. Especially with 10th grade. Like I thought I'd go and like have a good game plan in my head, but it was just like actually harder to make it seem like what I need to work on with like the kids and stuff like that.
Yeah. Is
But
now,
as
Mike, I think coaching it's funny because it's like you have to learn how to teach now instead of
mhm,
coming from the other side. Is that something you
yeah.
kind of see yourself going down the line, getting into more of the coaching route as well too?
Yeah, so at first when I started doing it, I was like, I don't know if I really like it or not and stuff like that. Like it was like a lot different than I thought it was gonna be. But
Yeah.
as it went along, like a couple weeks in, like I actually like really started to enjoy it. And like the connection you build with like the kids that you coach is like actually like that's like why I really started to like it. Like I still have like kids from my 10th grade team like text me on Instagram all the time and stuff, like ask me like what they can do to get better and stuff like that. So like, I think it's like the connection that I really like about it. But down the line, I'm gonna keep on doing it for as long as I can for sure. Like I'm gonna keep on coaching for the Knights, um, and see like where it takes me from there. Stuff
That's
like
all.
that. I would love to coach a high school team at some point.
Yeah.
I would love to do that for sure.
That's awesome. I mean, you're starting off young, man. I mean, you're like, what are you,
Hmm.
19, 20 years old?
Yeah, I turned 20 in October, so
Nice. Yeah. So you're starting
mhm.
off at a right age. I mean, you're young. Good time to get into it. Good time to learn some things. Learn from other people as well too. Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that's great, and it'd be cool if you got to get to coach a high school team eventually and take a program over for yourself.
No, for sure. That's something I would love to do, to be honest. But also, like, coaching, like as a player, still is kind of helpful because you understand what's going through players' minds too.
Yeah.
Like you understand what makes them comfortable. Like don't get mad at them after missing a shot and stuff like that. Like a turnover, don't take them out right away. Like you got to like make sure they still have confidence at all times.
Yeah. Definitely. I
So
think.
that's
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say so. I think that's what helps out the most is that like I know like what it feels like to be a player after making like a bad play. Like you don't want to just be yanked out of the game and stuff like that. Like you want to like still have confidence and stuff.
Yeah, let them bounce back from it and let them,
Exactly. Yeah.
learn from it. I think that's awesome. I think, you got a good mentality for it. And I think that's something that's gonna keep growing as keep coaching and keep playing as you go along the way.
Hmm. For sure. I mean, tryouts are in March 13th, I think, for 10th and 12th grade teams. So if anyone wants to pop out, they definitely should.
Yeah,
For sure.
they definitely should try out. That's it's important. I think playing any other basketball, I know you mentioned the other, BCRI and Team New England, but playing for any AU program will help your game, I think, on the
Oh
next
yeah.
level. Yeah.
Honestly, like AAU is a great platform to get your name out there if you're not like the if you don't have the best high school like career, like definitely just play AAU. Like it's definitely another way to get your name out there.
Definitely. Definitely. It
For
worked for
sure.
you. It worked out well for you. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's what I'm
you're a
trying
good
to say.
example
Yeah.
of that. So
Hmm.
um but I want to ask you some questions now. Outside of just basketball, first of all, I want to know, what are you doing to keep in shape, getting ready for next season for basketball? You're just still working out? What are you doing?
Yeah. So I actually I work out at LA Fitness. And
Okay.
so that's where I do like my weight training for the most part. I still try to go 5 to 7 days out of a week. I still try to do that. I have a basketball trainer, Manny. He like trains players in like Providence and stuff like that. His Instagram's like Dream Big or
Okay.
something like that. So I've been going to him a lot. That's like my number one trainer right now. I've been going to him. Um, I play in a little league that just started last Saturday in Exeter that has like a bunch of like talent in it, like CCRI and college players and like overseas players in it.
Wow.
So yeah, so we just had our first game Saturday, this past Saturday. So I just started doing that. Been using like the shooting gun a lot
Yeah.
to make sure my shots right. And honestly, I'm just still trying to improve my body as much as I can,
It's
just to
good.
make sure I'm more ready for next year. So
That's great, man. It sounds like you're doing a lot just to be right. I mean, playing in that league sounds pretty awesome. A lot of high level guys
mhm.
over there, and it sounds like you're just doing as much as possible to keep yourself ready for next season.
Yep. So yeah, definitely because I want to like I have a whole year to get better. That's how I look at it. Like I don't look at it as like we don't have a season this year. Like I just have like a longer off season, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Like
like
just so I can get
6 months, right? What is it, like 6, 7 months before next season?
yeah, we our first day is October 1st.
Oh wow, yeah,
October 1st. So we have some time. It's been a while, but
yeah.
in that first game Saturday was my first time playing in a game since COVID hit in Minnesota.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that was my first game in like pretty much a year. So it was definitely felt great to get back out there for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's gotta be a good feeling to be back on that court, and
Yeah, it
yeah,
was a long time coming. A
yeah.
long time coming.
Did it feel weird to, like, be in the competitive situation, or did it just feel nice?
Yeah, I mean, it felt really weird not playing for a year. Like I always had like some type of season, like at some point, like every year, like summer leagues or like CCRI, and like that layoff of like a year of not playing was like I got bored like I got really bored a lot of the time. Like I just didn't know what to do. I couldn't go to LA Fitness and just play basketball anymore, stuff like that. But
That's
it it felt weird. Like game flow is totally different than like anything else
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
But it was nice.
It's gotta be a weird feeling. I feel like something that's been part of your life for so many years, and then it just
Hmm.
stops. And I've had these
Yeah.
conversations with like coaches too, where it's just like, you get ready at like this certain time of the year, like for football or for basketball, whatever it is, and it just stops. And then you're like,
Yeah.
what do I do? It's just like part of my life the whole time. So
No, like, exactly. It was weird. It was definitely a weird time, but everyone was getting through it at the same time. So you have to keep that in the back of your mind too, that everyone's what you're doing too. So
yeah, that's a good point as well. It's a good positive look on it too, as well too.
yep. Got to stay positive all the time. That's what I tried to do.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like you're very positive. It sounds like I mean, you have a great attitude and great mentality about things. So that's awesome.
I appreciate that.
Of course. All right. So I want to ask some questions now, just more of outside of basketball, a little bit more, so the listeners get to know you a little bit more. Do you have like a pregame ritual or a superstition before a game?
Pregame ritual. Uh, um, honestly, so I don't know what it is, but I feel like before every game, I have to hit like 10 free throws in a row. I don't know why. I've been doing that for a while. Like I would just shoot 10. I had have to make 10 free throws in a row before I would like go back in the locker room and like with like that's like before games when you shoot around, I had to hit 10 in a row,
Oh wow,
just free throws. I don't know why. I feel like that just like made me locked in or something or so. I don't know.
that's good though. I mean, it's good ritual. It's good. Hey, it's good superstition or something like that. Just helps you
Hmm.
get focused, get ready for the game.
Yeah.
Uh,
Other than that, last year at CCRI, I don't know if you know like the pre-wrap things that like you wear like around your knees sometimes, like the thin wrap.
yeah,
I would wear that before. I would put that on every game. Like I feel like it would just make my knees never hurt.
yeah, that's good.
And I would have to put icy hot on too. Like I feel like that if I didn't do that, I would feel weird. Like my legs would feel weird. But I
do,
don't
you,
know.
do your knees bother you before a game? Like,
Yeah. Well, I used to have a knee tendonitis pretty bad.
oh, geez, yeah.
So like both knees, whenever I would jump, it would hurt, stuff like that. So but I got totally rid of that last year by like heating before games and practice and icing after games and after practice.
That's great. That's awesome. That's
So
really good. That's great.
yeah.
I'm sure, the tightness of the wraps helps out with everything as well too.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So now I don't need any of that stuff for my knees. I'm just good to go now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm glad your knees are good in good shape. That's the most important thing.
Hmm.
All right. Do you have like favorite music or anything? Do you listen before a game or just music outside of basketball that you listen to?
Oh yeah, for sure. I 100% listen to Lil Baby before every game. Lil Baby's a top option on me.
I feel like it's like Lil Baby or Boozy, and I think
Hmm.
maybe Young Boy have been like everyone's picks on this
But
podcast.
yeah, Lil Baby's at the top of the game right now, in
Is
my
he?
opinion. Yeah, my opinion, Lil Baby.
What's the
Uh,
song? Like, what's the song I should listen to? Like, I don't know. I don't know any. I don't think I've ever listened to Lil Baby. I think was he in the Drake song?
yeah,
Yeah,
he
that's
was he was in he was in Yes Indeed.
yeah, that's all I've heard. So
Um, I would listen to Some to Prove, SUM, then the number two, and then Proof,
okay.
because that just talks about how like where he came from and like what he like how he is now. Like he had something to prove his whole life, and now like look how he is now.
Okay.
That song would always get me going before games for sure.
All right. I'll definitely listen to it for sure. Do I sound old when I don't know who like Lil Baby?
Uh yeah, that's a little shocking to be honest, but
Yeah, I'm
uh,
I'm close to retirement, but and then is there a favorite food that you have?
a favorite food. Um, I really like I really like chicken sandwiches.
Okay.
Like nothing even like exact, but like chicken sandwiches from like almost anywhere. Like that's always like my go-to. Either that or quesadillas for sure.
Oh, good choice. Good choice. What
I'm a
kind of
big
quesadillas?
I like chicken quesadillas, like the lettuce, cheese, sour cream, all that.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, I know. That's like if I'm at like some place like that, that's my go-to for sure.
That's awesome. That's great. I
Yep.
now do you have do you play any video games or anything like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I play on PS4 right now. I'm still waiting on the PS5, but I definitely play 2K. I play Madden. I play UFC. I play a lot of Call of Duty, like Warzone and all that.
That's
I
awesome.
play pretty much like all the main games that everyone plays.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like
Yeah.
is there a team in Madden 2K that you like to use the most?
So Madden, Cam Newton's my favorite NFL player. In
Okay.
case anyone was wondering, like I've been a Cam Newton fan since he came, like since his last year at Auburn. So I've been riding with Cam Newton. So when I play with him, I play with the Pats obviously most of the time.
Yeah.
So definitely a Cam Newton fan. 2K. Um, a team that I ride with is the Pistons. I don't know why.
Okay. That's
I every time I use the Pistons, I have a good outcome with them. So
yeah. Hey, can't go
that's
wrong.
what I ride with.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. That's awesome. And then Do you have like a favorite? I know you said you're a Celtics fan. What do you think about the
Mhm.
Celtics? Do you think they're okay? They're in trouble? What do they need to do?
I think we're only in trouble if Kemba doesn't figure it out.
Yeah,
Like he had a good game yesterday, but Tatum didn't have a good game yesterday, so we ended up losing.
yeah.
But I think we'll once we get Smart back, once after the All-Star break, I think we'll go on our little run to like, like a win streak or something like that. And then I think we'll make it to the Eastern Conference Finals for sure.
Think it's the Nets, do you think?
Yeah, it'll probably be Celtics Nets for sure.
Yeah.
I hope that's gonna be a tough one to come out of though. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah. The Nets
I'm a
are,
Celtics. I'm a Celtics fan, but I'm realistic too. At the end of the day,
yeah. At least you're not like other Celtics fans that are like, they're gonna win the championship this year. And you're like, yeah.
oh, I mean that's what I hope so. Like, I hope it's Celtics Lakers, but
I hope so too. That
yeah,
drew in some big viewings on that, just on the regular. I think it was like when they played Saturday or Sunday night game. I think that was like one of the most viewings they've had for like a regular season game. I think it was like over 2 million views or something like that. So
really.
yeah, it drew in like
Oh
a
yeah,
big crowd.
that would be that's what I called that last year. I wanted it to be Celtics Lakers,
I
but
did
the Heat
too.
took us out. So
I know. I was shocked by that as well. I was very.
so was I.
I don't know.
I couldn't believe it, but
Yeah, same here. And then last question: favorite thing to do outside of sports?
favorite thing to do, probably honestly whatever the boys want to do. Honestly,
All right.
like I'm honestly I'm always with like all my friends and all that for the most part. So we go to Foxwoods a lot.
Okay. Just kind of walk
Yeah,
around and just
yeah, big Foxwood guys over here.
yeah.
But other than that, like we really we really do like whatever, like whatever's going on, like we do whatever.
That's great. It sounds
Yeah.
like you guys are close, anyways. From what you mentioned before, is it just the same group of guys that you usually hang out with?
Yeah, so a lot of it's like my long-term best friend since like seventh grade.
Nice. That's
So
awesome.
all of them, and then like they got close with like the CCRI team too, because like they were just always around me, so they were always with me, and then they were with the guys from there. So now it's just a big one group.
Oh, nice. That's fun. That's a
Yep.
lot of fun. We have a big group of friends like that.
I mean, with COVID, it's kind of hard to go do stuff.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff's still limited or not even open yet. So it's like, and
Yeah.
the weather is not good.
Yeah.
So
Sucks.
it's tough, but
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. Awesome, Tyler. This is a lot of fun. I'm glad you're able to come on the show, and you have a great story, man, of hard work and dedication, and keep doing what you're doing, and definitely make a name for yourself out there. And you're working on that for sure. Is there any statements, questions, or anything before we sign off?
Um, honestly, nothing big, but if you're if you're not where you want to be, just like keep going. Just keep having that same goal that you want to get to at the end of the day. Like, and always like remember what you're working for at the end of the day, like who you're doing it for and stuff like that. So
I love it.
just keep going at it. Just keep going at it.
I think it's a great message. I think your story is a good message about that as well too. I think just you as a person, like I said before, and numerous times you could have gotten down and quit, but you never did, and you wanted to play next level, and you got to the next level, and I'm sure there's another level you want to get to next, and that's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah, just gotta keep going at it. I'm just trying to play as long as I can. So
That's right. That's right. Enjoy it. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it while you can. But I appreciate your time, Tyler. Thank you for being on the show.
oh yeah, of course. I appreciate you for having me on. So
Yeah. Anytime. We'll have to do some Celtics talk sometime. We'll have to get you on the show.
oh yeah, I'll come back on whenever.
All right. Sounds good.
Whenever.
All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, have a good day.